Do the opinions of others about us hold any value? I think this is a very important question to ask, and that there are two very extreme sides you can go about this, and there's obviously a certain nuance that I typically believe in. But first, let's start with the people pleaser side. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with the term of people pleaser. People will try to shift their personality or change themselves to become more agreeable and have people like them. It's called code switching, and code switching isn't necessarily inherently bad if you guys are just trying to find something to relate to, but it's when you try to shift your whole personality towards that person is when it becomes a problem, in my opinion. Because if you have no personality, then you're just existing. Like, you're not taking any advantage to life, and you're not standing by any moral principles or conviction. And I think you really need to figure out your own self-identity. And I think, however, that being said, being a people pleaser will yield you to a lot of friends. If that's the way you want to go about it and you just want straight up friends, I think that's the way to go. But a following question to that is, are those friends of any value? Aristotle actually denotes friendship into 3 categories. He calls them pleasurable, useful, and noble. Pleasurable ones are obviously ones that are more fun oriented, and it's all about pleasure. People typically in their younger days have this. And then there are ones that are useful in the business and barter side of things, and it's almost like a mutualistic relationship. And then the third one is the most important yet least common one among people. It is a noble friendship. It's a friendship filled with virtue. And if you're not familiar with the term of virtue, or you don't actually know what it really means, it's performing a certain function excellently. And in a broader horizon of things, that just means that it's being able to use your rational thinking well, being able to reason very well. And this is important because humans are the only animals who are able to reason like this. And so that must mean that we have to use our quality of that to make the most of it. I mean, it's not, I don't like to think that it's arbitrary that we have this quality. But getting us back to a noble friendship. A noble friendship is one that's filled with virtue, as I said before, and it's when another person loves that other person for themselves, if that makes sense. They love each other for each other is another way to put it about it. Excuse me. But I think a noble friendship is one of the biggest beauties in life, because you've found somebody who will really be by your back. I don't think pleasurable friendships have that, or useful friendships have that. And it's just something that is so valuable. Like, if you don't have that in your life, then I feel a little sympathetic towards you. But at the same time, there's the other side of the spectrum, which is, I don't really care about anybody else's opinion except for my own of myself. And I think recently a lot of people have thought this way and thought, oh, this is a great way to go about it. However, I would like to disagree on that. Because you're only self-serving in your ways, and when you're only self-serving, you're just not a good person to be around. Now, I understand that's probably not your goal. You don't care about anybody else's opinion, but you also just don't contribute to society or the common good. The legislators, actually, people who make the laws, as Aristotle denotes it as well. Sorry, I keep referring to him, but he says that they care more about friendship than justice for a concept called concord. Concord is where people are able to come together and have a common ground and be able to collectively work towards the final end, which is happiness. And I truly just don't believe that, not caring about anybody's opinion, I truly believe that that's not going to yield you any sort of happiness. You can even look at real extreme isolationist people like the monks who retreat to the Himalayas. They refer to that as sannyas in Hinduism. It's when people leave all their belongings and go into the mountains to reach enlightenment. And even those people have gurus and people to tell them how to work certain ways, because in the end, we need somebody nudging us on the right path, or we need to know when to keep ourselves in check, and we can't do that all by ourselves. So I actually think the answer to this question is somewhat a mix of the two. It's that you should care about the opinions of others, but it should be of people you respect. Because if it's somebody who you respect, that means you've attributed them to enough value to where you can respect their opinion, and therefore you can understand how you want to go about things, and they can keep you in check. If I tell my friend to keep me accountable, a good friend to keep me accountable to go to the gym 5 days a week, I sincerely believe that they will do that. And there are people who would rather just keep themselves in check, but there are certain goals you can't get past just directly by yourself. You can't brute force all of it. There has to be another entity. Now, that doesn't mean you need a vast number of people to care about their opinion, but there needs to be at least one or two people, in my understanding of it. And typically these people are probably going to be someone who cares for you, something that's noble, I should say. But anyways, that's my take on it. Have a good day.